por aquí.
Yeah. Okay, so let's proceed with this part about the user experience. I'm going to recall quite quickly what we have done to that respect. So this mostly concern the gLw Dixit project. One of the components is user experience. So interestingly, we were also yesterday discussing in the philosophical wondering very nice all those grand ideas of the encyclopedia and so on. But if we don't make that people really use it, which goes very much in line with clear communication, then we are doing nothing. And this is also something that Modestos has always tried to teach us. So if this goes on interaction with systems implies that we need to make that this interaction is effective. Otherwise, it's not worthwhile, and it's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable. So for that reason, we want to make, as we will see in the clarification activities of this evening, that is easy to use, and people have the feeling that is useful. And we will try to discuss this evening. So first, know the platform, and we will test. So this is kind of the motivation. But what we have done so far, originally we wanted to make some eye tracking and all that, but in the end, we meet past November in Munich. So that was the previous gLw workshop. And finally, because of also limitation of resources, then we decide just to focus on making questionnaires to the people. And then we divided into two questionnaires. First, to know, so for every participant in the activities, in the clarification activities, as the ones of this evening, we wanted to test first. So what were first identification of what kind of so to say population, so demographics, if you want to name it. On the other hand, so what is their usage of digital technologies? So what they were their capacities, and also their usage with respect to other clarification tools, and including gLw itself, because some of the people has already interacted. So whether you know or you don't know. That was the pretest. Then they had to do the activity. So we teach them, as this evening, we teach them so how to work. And finally, we did a second testing. So the post test, as we call it. I'm thinking I'm going to share one the screen to show you how the setting is. So this is, by the way, the setting that we will use this evening. No? So this is for the gLw workshop. In that occasion was for differently, but you have here so the activity as we will explain this evening. And then they have access that, by the way, we need to change. I hadn't noticed that, but this is in Spanish. I did until now. I didn't notice. So we have to change this. But in any case, here is the access to the pre-test and the post-test. So people access it to the pre-test. Oh, interestingly, it doesn't. Because it's not published, because it's still not published. And then we have the post test. So when we open it, they will come into that test. and then they do the post-test. And with all that, we make a collection of the data. By the way, I forgot to do something important before, but I didn't want it because Isaac was saying that I am pressing all the time. So I didn't want to ask again, so turn on your cameras. But there is an important figure here that Modestos, I don't know whether Modestos is, because actually I wanted kind of Modestos.
I'm here, but sorry, I cannot intervene right now.
Okay, but you were listening.
Yes, I listened. The only problem is someone is on my door right now.
Okay. No, I just wanted because otherwise, because we did the break and I didn't do any checking, and because I didn't have also the feedback of the camera.
Yes, I'm here listening. Generally, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So what is now? Okay, so this is the setting of what we did. We collected the data, and with that data we did some findings. I don't know if Juan, you can say anything, because all the data is in hands of Juan so far. So Juan, maybe you can tell us something. Juan, are you there? Is the other person I didn't ask.
Juan Lobos, ¿no?
Juan.
¿Qué Juan?
No,
Juan.
no Juan Romero, but Juan
Romero.
Lobos.
No, Juan Lobos.
No, but Juan Lobos is, I don't,
Juan Lobos
that is not
here.
the voice of Juan Lobos.
No.
So I'm calling Juan if he can explain us something. But the idea is after we have done this experience, so what do we do now? For this evening, Juan and Ana, they so I participated only a little. Juan, estamos hablando de ti, que estamos discutiendo lo del user experience. Y estaba preguntándote qué cosas se pueden decir de lo que habíamos visto antes. ¿Te puedes conectar?
Nada, así de tranquilo.
Vale. So we have been preparing these new formula forms to make this testing. So maybe Anna, you have a better picture of what concretely we have changed. Maybe you can say, Anna.
The only thing that we had been working on is on the design of the questionnaires. So we restructured the questionnaires and we changed the wording, the writing of some of the questions. So now we think that it is better structured, and we are the questions that we are asking to the users are more focused on, and we are distinguishing between the task again. The task of clarifying and the use of the web platform for it. So I think the questionnaires are now more clear for every user, and that's going to be useful for the evaluation.
Yes, of course. I was making all the changes, and I think that you could check how the new questionnaires are in the session of this afternoon, because now it's more clear. I started to see, and I we separate the two things. But in Munich, when we did the workshop the last year, was very mixed. So to found what is the problem, because in Munich, several people says that they will not use this tool to any clarification. But after that, we make a new workshop, and the people started to see they could use it. But all the questions were mixed, not superior. Thanks to notice that, because now it's more clear. And I will send the questionnaire for you also this afternoon. The both questionnaires more clear and separate the idea of the clarification task, the tool part, and the reference part. So
yeah, as Juan said, we found some inconsistencies in the previous evaluation. So what we tried is to solve this redesigning the questionnaires. We cannot hear you, Jose Maria.
For example, what kind of inconsistencies?
Juan just explained one of them. He said that some of them evaluated the tool as very, very bad for clarification tasks, but on the other hand, they could do it. So, so I think we can.
In the answers, not in the questions, but in the answers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So we're trying to solve this kind of inconsistencies with the new design of the questionnaires.
Great. Good. And this is what we will use this evening, right?
yes,
But for the time being, is not open yet, right? So because I tried before, I suppose is the same one. What I was showing before is the link was this one, no?
the link is not ready. I will change right now.
Okay.
And in the chat, you have the pre-test in Spanish for this afternoon.
Okay, they are in Spanish.
Yes.
Okay, in any case, it's not a problem because the user experience, so the clarification activity this evening will be in Spanish. So, okay. The first one was in was bilingual, I think. The first one, but then we did a second one. So we have like two phases. First we did it with the people who participated in Munich, and then in a second phase we did some refinement, and that refinement was for our students in one particular subject that was a relatively populated subject with more than 100 people, and we changed something, but some of those changes was not that proper, I think. So for measuring just the usefulness of the platform, but for other things. And now, so we keep so we have been modifying that second version using. Okay, so doing this tuning. I don't know if Modestos, you want to know anything in more detail about that, and if you think that we should do something, or do you have any question?
Okay. Regarding, I've been a little bit. I was looking at the research plan you have, and you mentioned user experience, and also you mentioned usability, which are two different. We have different methodologies for measuring each one. This is the only thing that I've seen. So I'm not sure if you want to do a pure usability test or a mixed usability and user experience test, because we have different methodologies for that. This is the only thing that I spotted. Apart from that, I can help if you want with the research method, if we need to do any user tests, or if you want to do the plan for the tests. I know that you are already prepared with the questionnaires. We do have some specific tools that we use in usability testing. I don't know if you want to go on that. For instance, the system usability scale test for user satisfaction. Depends on what we want to measure, really. This is the key part. And there are other methods like cognitive walkthrough. We can do usability testing with heuristic evaluation. Apart from, I'm talking, for other methods and tools that can be implemented apart from questionnaires. I don't know if you have them, and I missed it. Sorry for that. So I guess if we want to measure, for instance, efficiency, maybe effectiveness of the system, depending on the goals of the users, to do typical metrics like, say, task completion rates, or calculate the number of errors. There are different methods depending on the task. This is the thing. So do we have specific scenarios that are we going to test?
Yeah, the specific scenario we are going to test is working in this clarification activity, and it has like two scenarios. One of them is the one of participants. So in this evening we will have two workshops. The first one is for the participant, so like a student who go to a clarification activity in the context of a subject, and do what is being shown in the workflow. First they read, they make some comments, and they make a clarification of a concept. This is the first workshop and one of the scenarios. The second scenario is you are an organizer, for example, the teacher who has organized that clarification activity in the subject, and there will be several teachers who will participate. And then they have to implement one clarification activity in the specific task that they are going to carry it out this evening or in the following days.
Okay.
So there are these two scenarios, and they are the basic. So the two most important tasks we are right now testing, because we could be focusing on other matters in the platform, like, for example,
yes,
creating the profile was also, because this is a part, and created a proposal for example, from one article. This is something that we will do it in the next future, but now we don't have it that much developed, the interfaces so far. So what we have developed more are for those two scenarios, and those are the ones we want to know.
And can I ask something else? Do we evaluate user performance? Do we evaluate the scenarios themselves? And if I understand correctly, we might evaluate the system, but because the interface is not something that has been developed that much, then we don't touch that, if I understand correctly. So in general, we evaluate the scenarios where the users interact with the system, and more specifically with the content.
No, not with the content, but also the clarification. See, for example, imagine I am sharing, right?
Okay.
For example, here, imagine I'm going back. The workflow start in something like, no, this doesn't help. Maybe it's better another clarification. Let me go, for example, to here. And here, okay. Because this is one collection. Actually, we should make something similar for the other. Here we have what the collection of gLw edu is about, and okay, this is explained, but wait a moment. I think I don't know if I change to English. No, no, because okay, maybe it's in Spanish. I think it's in English as well. But how do you go here to the English page?
Yeah.
By the way,
Because here it's set to English.
yeah, but also I am only changing. There is okay. In any case, it's not that important. Here there is a link for creating. So the first step. So you go here to what the gLw edu is, and here you have a form for creating a clarification activity. You create one, for example, for a workshop trial. You create this, and then you have a form, and then you need to start working with it, and in order to start to work here, for example, you provide here instructions. You need to enter, just to give you one example of how you enter, for example, here data. So I can select here the contents. It's indicated to me if they come from Glossarium Vitri, if they come from the International Encyclopedia. Sorry. So here is the way I interact with the data when or with the content when I already know, and I am an organizer. So for example, this is an issue. I don't know why. Probably it's my keyboard. And so on. So I'm not going to complete the form. But this is a way. I didn't write.
So we evaluate the process, or
we want to evaluate the process. This evening I will show the whole process. So what these people have to do, the participants. If you are just one participant, the thing is easier, because for example, you go here to this clarification activity. You are a participant, and then you have here one article that is available. I want to develop adaptive network, and I have to do some of this reading that is explained here. And then if I am a participant in this clarification activity, then I can go here, or I can go here because it needs improvement. Then I read the improvements that are needed. I read it, then I go on, so on. So,
okay.
and then here I work because I have a form. Then I want to integrate to an author, or I do a request for reviewing. So it's the interaction, the whole interaction in the process of participating in a clarification activity, either as a participant or as an organizer, because I create one of these activities. So what I was showing before, and I will do it this evening, we create one testing activity by filling up the form. Then afterwards, they have to use it themselves in one real case.
Okay.
And what we are going to do is we make the pre-test and the post-testing. Maybe it's that you check it. So the questionnaire is to see what we are asking. But I think Ana and Juan are the ones who can tell you better what we are measuring, because I didn't have the the time also to see it in details. And I don't know on the specifics of, yes, we want it. I can tell you, we'll do according to what you have said. Yes, we want it that is effective. We want that is useful. I don't understand.
Yeah. Usually, you see why I mentioned that. Sorry, Anna has a priority before me because she raised her hand, so I'll give her. So Anna, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Modestos. I just wanted to tell you that what we did is an usability evaluation. We designed a usability evaluation based on questionnaires for the users. So we have a pretext. In the pretest, we are asking them the previous experience on clarification task.
Oh, I see.
And after the clarification task, we are asking them how difficult was for them to complete the clarification task, and how easy it was for them to use the platform, and all these kind of questions. And what we are doing, because we have not other because I'm not there, so I'm not. I was not sure what kind of tools they could use during the evaluation. What we did is a simple usability test. So, and what we did is just to test, just to manage the time they are using. We are just asking them to get the time at the beginning of the task and put the time at the end of in the form. So that. One time we are asking them to include the time when they are starting and finishing. So that's the way we are measuring the time during the task.
So my only concern is the focus of the study. I understand that you want to evaluate the process of the clarifications. You see, in doing an evaluation of a system where a user interacts, we have multiple layers that we can evaluate. One thing is that we evaluate the system itself and the interface. Another task might be evaluating the process, how the information is organized and served to the user. And another thing is how the users perform on top of that. For each of these, we can say stratify the evaluation process and use the appropriate tools to do the evaluation. So, for instance, I would propose that we do a full plan for the evaluation. Probably you already done that, but my proposal is to create a full plan of the evaluation, define the goal, say clearly what is the objective of this evaluation. So for example, we might say, can the users complete the task? Do the students or the users find the course material or the material of the? So we can stratify it. We can layer the evaluation in different different layers depending on the goal, and then we can ask the research questions. What are the research questions that we want to focus? And of course, then we can find the appropriate participants, define the scenarios that you already have in the tasks. And what is important, in my opinion, is to select the right measures. So we might say that we need effectiveness. And when we evaluate effectiveness, we need to see specific topics like task success, error count, if they asked for assistance in between. Then we might evaluate the efficiency. Again, we might calculate how much time it took for a user to complete the task, how many clicks they did, if they have followed the navigation path that we have. And of course, then we can do more mixed usability and user experience by measuring, say, satisfaction. And we can apply the system usability skill questionnaire and see how the users feel about the system, which is more of something, not usability itself, but is a mix of usability and user experience. And of course, as I mentioned before with Jose Maria, we can also complement this process by doing, for instance, eye tracking on some users. and see how they perform and in comparison to what they say. So usually I know that you planned a questionnaire. Usually we do the evaluation plan, which is like more an umbrella plan that includes all the pre-test, post-test, the questionnaires, the planning, the demographics of the users, etc. So, in my opinion, is better to spend some time and do a proper plan of the evaluation, include what you have, and maybe complement it with some more robust, complete, well-known tools that we use, like a heuristic evaluation or cognitive walkthrough or something else. They are established tools that we use in evaluating systems. And then conduct the sessions in a very specific formal way by following the tools that we selected. Usually we perform like that. I understand that this might makes the task more, how can I say it, more complex and more tedious, but this will give us the ability later on to have rich data out of the evaluation to publish something that has a concrete basis and a good, how can I say, planning. So I'm just laying out these thoughts that I had. And of course, we can choose. It's a matter of choosing the right tools and applying it to the right time. It's not something that is written on stone. We define how we perform the evaluation tests. Okay. Sorry if it took me too long to explain.
No. It's great. You gave us a roadmap.
No, Modestus. I love it.
Of course, I'm willing very much to participate in that because I haven't done much really on that. And
no, but if you have time in the next 2 weeks, we could meet in a meeting.
Of course.
And with Maria, Jose Maria, and I, we define all the things. The problem that we are trying to make the pre-test and the post-test only because we wanted to analyze, but we didn't know how to do it.
Okay, okay. Of course, I can contribute on that. I can contribute. Juana, it's my pleasure.
Actually, at the
beginning, so the indications by Anna was very important. Otherwise, we were absolutely lost. So the path that she marked us served us at the beginning. But the ones who has been doing the pretest, so I didn't mention. We have been mentioning us, but for example, at the beginning, Isaac and Juan Romero, they were doing that, but actually they didn't have that broad view as you both have. So Modestus and Anna. So take us as collaborators of your good view of what we have to do. Accessibility is another point of view that is a stronger holder of the idea of making it accessible. Yeah. And which, by the way, is not that easy in our platform, you know.
No, accessibility is, yes, you are right, Jose, you are very right, because accessibility is very much depending on the interface itself, on the processes, and also on the capabilities that each user has in front of him or her. You see, if I run this on a specific computer with a specific monitor, then someone else might experience it differently, and it becomes even more, complicated when someone, uses a very exotic device like a tablet or a mobile phone or something else. So I don't know if we can really do an accessibility test at this stage. I don't know.
I don't know, by the way, now that you have mentioned that, because of course the platform behaves very, very different when you work with the mobile. And I don't know whether we have been asking that. At what point they have been using with what kind of device they have been interacting. I don't think they have done the activity without the computer, because it's crazy if you try to do the whole activity with the mobile. I think you
need to say
probably
that several of the students
give up.
asked me because they try to do with a tablet and they have problems because it's crazy.
So it's very well optimized for usefulness as a reader with the phone, but it is too complicated. It's like, for example, we haven't done also tools for making a good edition with the mobile, because the mobile is not for that. It's more for capturing attention and for writing very small things. So then,
Yes,
in the end, it will never be possible to make it effective if you want to do the whole clarification activity in the
Yes,
phone.
exactly.
But nevertheless, at least it's good to test, because if somebody is saying, okay, I don't find anything, I don't find how to edit, then asking, okay, what are you using? Because if you are using a phone, then we forget.
yes,
Yeah,
but
but
there
also
are several tablets that are
yeah,
13-inch, and they are very big because it's like a computer screen. So it's a very big, but the platform give them the version of the mobile phones, not the computer one. And they could go to the computer one, go into a different link. But we need to address that in the next versions. But working with Modestos, we will prepare several things to do.
yes. Actually, accessibility is a little bit more complicated, I would say, because also apart from the devices, for instance, there are specific guidelines and the accessibility standards and criteria. So, for instance, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, the WCAG, has specific, it's very specific in the way it is performed. We cannot like say that, we start an accessibility test without having a platform that supports the accessibility guidelines. I understand that the Wikimedia or whatever we use has some basic accessibility standards embedded in it, but then it is quite complicated for it, because it depends on the user, depends on the accessibility that we're targeting. It's different if you have, say, blind users, and when you have like users that cannot listen to things, or users that are partially, they're visually impaired. They're not blind, but they're visually impaired. And what screen readers do they use? What keyboard operations they can do? How do we handle the errors? There are many things in between, because many different screen readers are involved. We have different input methods. Someone is using some keyboard. Another one might use some specific device they have. So I would say that accessibility can be very specific to the system, the guidelines that it complies, and then the users and the disabilities we have. So usability is, and it is very risky, because it's very well documented, and we have to comply with everything that is documented. We cannot just do an evaluation, as we feel it. We have to follow the standards.
Okay, then we can do the following. So I think it's good that we share the questionnaires with Modestos first, so for him to know what we are testing. and then maybe in the next weeks, whenever you can. So Ana, Modestos, for example, Juan and myself, we can meet together to see next steps.
Of course,
What do you think?
In
Yes,
general,
Ana.
yeah. In
Sorry.
general, I propose. Sorry, Anna. I propose to spend some time, create an evaluation plan, and document it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I just wanted to say that. So I completely agree with Modestos. We cannot do anything without a good design of the evaluation. We are we are now using just some tests, but we need to define exactly what is our aim in the evaluation and what we really need to measure. And there are a lot of different methodologies to measure depending on what which is our aim. We need to use one or another. So we need to be sure what exactly we want to evaluate. And yeah, the accessibility, yeah, I think that's not possible with the current platform we are using. Yeah, we need first to meet all the checklist of the WCAG before evaluating the accessibility. Is a big thing.
yeah, I totally agree with Anna. On that.
So when do you can meet? We can just make the plan for that. No, take the opportunity. So when do you can in the next 2 weeks?
It's a matter of organizing a couple of meetings, and
Do you can next week on Thursday?
yes, we can do it. It's not a problem with me. I can find some them.
No, Anna is not. For Anna, Thursday morning is not good, but Thursday evening or afternoon?
I have an exam. No, but we can create a doodle or something to detect which is the best place, the best time slot for us. Yeah.
Jose Maria, can I ask you something? Are you staying in on Friday? Are you in Syros?
Yes, we are here. Yes, we are in Syros.
Okay,
until Saturday.
And you live on Saturday?
Yes.
Antonio is until Friday.
Okay.
But we stay until Saturday in the midday.
Okay, I propose the following. Let's do a meeting between each other, the people that are in Syros, and identify the goals and the requirements. And then when we have the goals and the requirements and what we plan to research, like define the research questions, we don't need to do everything. We just need to plan and decide that we are going to do 2 or 3 specific things. The evaluation is not to be exhaustive, like evaluate everything. We never do that. We focus on small parts and evaluate small parts. So in order to do so and proceed with Anna, I propose we spend some time together, identify the research goals, see what you already have at hand ready-made, and then when we have the goals, we can proceed with Anna and find the right tools to complement, these goals that we have. This is how we do the research, and the evaluation plan.
Yeah, one idea is to focus on what was not perfect in the previous evaluation. So Juan Lobos has a great knowledge about that because he has been analyzing the questionnaires of the previous evaluation. Maybe Juan can tell us better where the problems were during the last evaluation, and we can try to focus on that as the main aims of the new evaluation.
Yeah, for that I think it's good. So for a closer meeting, so the ones who could be meeting is also together with Danny. So here is Danny, so Modestos and I could meet. we could also do some mixing if Anna could do it, but in principle this is the meeting for doing that. I think what can help us a lot is seeing the scenario this evening, this afternoon, because the scenario can tell us a lot, I think. So maybe after that we have better basis. So for that reason, I say, Juan, maybe it's good first setting with investors some questionnaires so that he also has the access to them. We see how this evening is. So this afternoon with those two scenarios, that I think is important to know what is the scenario, how the interaction works, which will be quite quick. So they both are going to be quick. So it will be longer for the participants because they have to do the clarification and the organization, but it will last more days or a couple of weeks until they complete the task. But for us as testers, I think we need to know those scenarios. So we can do that. So we see us in the afternoon, so we can finish for now. But this I think is good what you have find out. So this needs that at the very beginning I had an intuition that was also needed. So it's great that we finally get to that point. So we work on the plan, and this evening, this afternoon, we meet at what time is it? The evening. So it's 4 in Spain.
Yes.
4 in Spain is 5 in Greece, and it will be 9 in Ecuador. So most of the participants, so many participants will come from Ecuador. So I think the group from Ecuador will mostly participate only on that activity, because for the ones in the morning, obviously, is not a very proper time for Ecuador. So Teresa looks like being from Ecuador because she's in the Ecuadorian university, but actually she's confusing us because she's in the middle. She's in Portugal. For that reason, she was very fresh and clear in the mornings. Okay, so what do you think? Is that fine with you? So Modesto, Sana, Juan,
That's okay for me.
and Daniel. So also we for meeting with Modestos. So then we see us in the afternoon. So thank you very much for the participation, your passions, and for the inputs here. That was also, I think, is going to be very useful. So thank you very much, and
Thank you.
see you later.
See you
Nice to
later.
see you. Nice to see you.
Cali,